Welcome to another episode of Eat, Don't Compete, and I am your girl, Jazz. Welcome back to the show, guys. Today I want to talk about leaning further into being who you are. And I'm just going to get right into it. If I'm being completely honest with you, when God began to download to me that I have the potential of being a communicator of the gospel, it scared the out of me. It scared me because I feel like, no shade, but if you get up there and dance, some people in the audience might know that you're not dancing to the glory of God. If you get up there and sing, some people might know that you're not singing to the... It's a weightiness, is what I'm saying, to be accurate in my conveying of his word to you. And it's a responsibility. And I think I've honestly been pretty challenged with that responsibility. So I found myself in this place of not really knowing how to go off script, if you will. So what do I mean by that? As you see now, we're not in my green screen, my normal setup for the podcast. I'm toying with some different concepts, but this particular backdrop, if you will, is my most authentic self. It's what I would be doing. It's how I would be operating on a regular basis. And I just wanted to be more comfortable in how I came to you guys, but I also know that I was challenged with how I've been coming. Challenged within myself, because I know that if I'm going to say the word of God, I have to be sharp. And it has something to do with my, recovery, perfectionism vibe or whatever. But at the same time, it's just like you gotta be accurate. You gotta be accurate. So I've been trying to not allow the enemy to press that upon me, and have a full dependency upon the Lord. So this conversation today, I think that a lot of this season has been a long, extended Bible study, if you will. And the Lord is teaching me and helping me to differentiate what is a Bible study, what is a sermon, and the flexibility of being on a podcast. So bear with me as he's teaching me some things. And so when I think about that, I think about how strict I've been and how hard I've been on myself to make sure that I'm accurate. And like I said, that's something God's continuously working with me on, because I know that he wants me to communicate the gospel, but I also know that who I am is who he called. You know what I'm saying? Like, who I am is who he called. There are tons of people who communicate the gospel, right? And what I think what God is trying to teach me is that who I am is who he called for my assignment. And who you are is who he called for your assignment, which brings me to the next point. Don't get caught out there having someone wait on you. Meaning, someone is, in fact, waiting on you. Not just waiting on you to fulfill your purpose and walk in God's call for your life, but someone's waiting on you to be you. And it's been a confirming message because I've been hearing it over and over from various different people. And someone can preach a word, right, that I've completely written, right? Written it out, crafted it. But the delivery and the acceptance of it, if it was meant for me to deliver it, then the acceptance of it will look different because of who it is delivering it, because it was assigned to one person and not to the other. So I think that in thinking about someone waiting on you, I think about how I've toyed with what my identity does in how I show up in the world after feeling like I've heard the call more clearly, if you will. And so as I stopped to think about that, I realized that the reason, this is what I believe, that the reason why God has been gracious with allowing all certain elements of me to stay vibrant is because I was willing to give my entire self to him. Like, I was willing to sacrifice my identity if it meant I am a follower of Christ. And in turn, God said there isn't much sacrifice to be made. There's actually surrender. Okay, so when I was younger, I was in between homes, and I wasn't a child, I was an adult, I was early college. And in that occurring, one of the things that happened was I found myself very vulnerable. I found myself setting up to get assistance, right? To live, to help me pay for housing and so on and so forth. But in order to do that, I had to spend a year in a shelter. And so I was prepared to do it. I'm going to spend this year in the shelter. Then they'll pay for my rent for a year. But that never happened. And what I do believe happened is that my willingness to surrender my pride of not wanting to do that and all the other factors that are involved helped God not helped God, but conveyed to God that I was willing to do something. So he was also gracious enough to do something for me. I hope that makes sense. So there's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it says, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you someone else is the greatest accomplishment. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you someone else is the greatest accomplishment. I want to read this other quote. I haven't read this particular quote in so long, but it was one of my favorites. It was Audre Lorde. It was about quote. Give me a second. It just came to me. It says, if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. Let me say it again. If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. Because I think that we're more used to being carbon copies than we are with being originals. And the thing is that I believe that God wouldn't have made us different if he didn't want us to be different. That let's start at the very beginning. We talk in Genesis. He is a creative. Like, he's a creator, but he is essentially a creative. When he made the sky, it looked different than the animal. But even when he made the sky, he made the night different than the day. He enjoyed the creation of it all, right? And in that, he made each and every one of us different. So if in fact he made us different, I really advise you not to try to be like other people. Yes, let's take this with a grain of salt. Let's use some wisdom, right? But even in Psalms 139, 14, and this is the New Living Translation. It says, thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. And he said, thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. There's so much that could be chopped and screwed in that verse. My goodness. But from what I understand, Psalms 139, and I really relate to the complexity of David's mind, because from my understanding, 139 was written by David while he was being chased down by Saul, if I'm not mistaken, chased down by Saul to be killed, because Saul was his leader, but he also was jealous of him, right? So in that, how would you say, I relate to his complexity, because on any given moment, even this moment, my mind can go, various different ways, because later on he says, search my heart, let me know if anything crazy is going on in there. It says, search my heart, O God, and know my heart. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Put out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. But he's saying to search me and get to know that, like, reveal to me the scum, the trash, the bad character, the immoralism, all the things that I got hidden in my heart. But he's saying this while he is being chased down to be killed. Right? But in the same breath, he's also saying what? Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Just a few verses up. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. If you ask my husband, one of the most defining words he would say about me is she is complex. And there's been a piece of me that kind of like, I wish I could be just a little bit more simple. I wish I could have just one dream. I wish I can be a better wife in the aspect of being this way, like that person, right? And I wish I can be a better cook in the way of being the way this person has done it. But the reality of it is, he has made me so wonderfully complex, intentionally so. But I think with where the problem most of the time lies is that, because I'm having a conversation right now about leaning into who you really are. But there's a balance, and I want you to hear the balance, that I am not doing here's your 1,000 affirmations. I want you to take a biblical view of leaning into who you are. And that's reading Ephesians. That's Psalms 139:14. They take a biblical view, because if not, you will lean so far into self that you will become a fool. And you don't want that, right? So what I am saying is that when I have this challenge, this inner insecurity about holding up my schisms and isms and faults, right? I have them here. I know them all too well. So when I get up to speak in front, I know that I'm new. I'm not new to eat, don't compete, but I am new, anew. I am not the same person you knew before. And in that, I am realizing that as I become new, I have to get used to the body after baby number 1. And then the body after baby number 2. And then the body after 35 as a Black woman. You get what I'm saying? Like, there is something to get used to in this new frame. And the difference is, I don't have a body consultant. But I was made by God. I was created by God. So who I was before is not discounted, right? But I need help understanding who I am now. And that is okay. That is okay. I don't think we hear enough that that's okay. Because if I feel like, hey, I'm a communicator of the gospel, there's a balance between being so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. I didn't know how not to just preach. Like, what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm getting on this podcast. I gotta talk about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you don't, but it's like God is teaching me sound lessons on who I am with wisdom in community through my tribe. Like, and I'm excited that he's gracious enough. He's wonderful enough. He's creative enough to see me before and still want to teach me more about who he's constantly molding me into. So I really believe, like I said before, that it was only until I was willing to give up my full self that he saved a little bit of myself and left it here so that I'm not unrecognizable. That's pretty amazing. And when I think about that, I think about somebody's waiting for you. Somebody was waiting on me to be me. So someone is waiting on you to be you, with your vinyls in the background and your matcha on the side. Someone is waiting on you to just be you. We live in a duplicating, imitating world. There's enough of them. We need more of you. So I think that breaking down this who I am, I think this might be my next series. I didn't want to do a series, Jesus. Okay, we'll talk later. As I close, I wanted you to really give some thought to those different things that you've been called, right? And we don't have any control over what somebody called us, right? We can stand firm and we can ask them, hey, you know what I'm saying, watch your mouth, et cetera, but we don't have control over what someone calls us. Because it's not as much what you're called, but what you answer to. And I'm in the space of, I don't feel like a lot of people have access to me per se, but at the same time, those who do have access to me, those are the opinions that count. Those are that's informing a tribe. I have a tribe. I understand that. I understand that people their opinions are vitally important to me. What they call me is important because they know me, right? But most people call you, but they don't know you. So don't get distracted by what someone is calling you, because their opinion doesn't count for much if they don't have any stake in your game. Okay? I honestly think this is a subject matter I should go further into, so I probably will. But I want to leave you with the idea of showing up in the world. Showing up in the world. As you. As who you've been, who God is molding you into. Keep showing up in the world. Stop being defined by all the things around you. Be like a never-ending chameleon when you can show up as you. There are context clues to who you are all around you. So stop showing up as everyone else and start dialing in on who you are. It's a scary sight, because when God searches your heart, it reveals that thing to you, reveals who you really are. You're not going to want to accept that. You're not going to want to hear that. But be open. Be open to God. And he'll begin to unfold some things to you. He'll begin to reveal some things to you. And although not easy, it's well worth it. Because like I said before, We have so many of them, but we need more of you. So thank you for tuning in to another quite short episode of Eat, Don't Compete. And I have been your host, Jazmine DeWees. I'll see you soon.